What's your passion? What makes you wake up every morning? What keeps you up at night? What values do you believe in? What problems do you want to solve? Lastly, what makes you, you? Hi, this is Jen Kahukom, and welcome to Your Brand, Your Story podcast, where we share stories and conversations about humanness and authenticity. It is a rare privilege to have this special person on this episode tonight, mainly because she has made a great impact in my professional life. I first met her back in 2018 when I hosted an event here in Subic and invited her as one of the panelists. When I listened to her talk, I remember the moment being surreal because prior to that event, I was just reading articles about her. One was when she was featured on Forbes, and the other was on Entrepreneur. And she was actually also featured in Marketing in Asia, but she was featured before I joined. And her passion for her craft and her vision for the Filipinos is just admirable. And I can go on and on saying good things about her, but might as well we see a different side of her, and yeah, might as well go ahead and introduce her now and have you listen to her. Let's welcome Miss Virginia Bautista. Hi,
Hello,
Miss
Jen.
V.
Hi, hi. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for this opportunity. Thank
No,
you.
thank you. I'm like I said, it's really a rare privilege to have you in this well, I call this, conversation. So this is I launched my podcast, and you were one of my first guests. You were one of the
Wow.
first few people who came to mind, and I'm
Thank
really glad
you.
that you oblige. So yeah,
Happy
let's
to be here, Jen. Anytime for you.
thank you, ma'am. So yeah, let's start, I
Uh,
guess, can you tell the listeners more about you?
mhm.
What you're passionate about, what you're busy with these days, or and who is Virginia also when she's not working, please.
Thank you so much, Jen. So, first of all, thank you again for inviting me here. Um, there's a lot of things that I can share about myself, but right now, what I can think of is that I may be on LinkedIn and I'm teaching personal branding or helping people build their personal brand on LinkedIn. But when I started, I thought actually that I was teaching people LinkedIn. And then I realized it wasn't just LinkedIn that I was teaching them. I was teaching them how to build the confidence they need so that they will be able to leverage LinkedIn and become more successful. But of course, before that, before that, I wasn't. Before I came here, um, probably most of my followers would know. But hopefully, for your audience, let me introduce myself. So I've been in the academe for more than 11 years as an assistant professor of communication since 1999 until I left in 2010. And then in 2010, I shifted to full time freelancing. It was a risk for me at the time because I had three kids and I had no idea I was freelancing. I just wanted to work from home. I wanted to leave the job. But then a lot of good things happened to me since then. And I never looked back since then. But as a person, actually, I'm a mom of five kids now. My eldest is 21 years old, and my youngest is 5 years old. I think I'm first of all a mom before I am anything else. Because of being a mom, I am able to do everything that I'm doing right
That's yeah. This is I would really like to take advantage of this moment. I mean to know more of
now.
the other side of you, because yeah, to our listeners, Virginia is actually one of the people that I look up to when it comes to building a personal brand on LinkedIn. But not everybody know how amazing of a person
I
she
mean, yeah.
is. Yes. And but then yeah, I'd like to know, especially those who have yet to start, building a career, for those who are still struggling right now, for those who have yet to build their personal brand, or for those who have yet to find what they're really good at. Can you tell us tell us about a moment in your life where you really wanted to achieve or have something, but it wasn't going to be easy, but you still did it anyway?
Mm, I have a lot of moments like that because I think the most difficult part for me is not excuse me, is not knowing what I wanted to do. Or the most difficult part is not, your question is, um, I wanted to do something, I wanted to achieve something, but I had no idea why. I have a lot of moments like that. But before that, I think the most difficult part of my life was those times when I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. That is a different story. And I was just working hard every single day, 8 to 5. So it was like when I was in the academe, it was like this. So I will be going to the university from Monday to Friday, from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock, sometimes until 6 o'clock. MWF, I was teaching Korean students, ESL to Korean students. That was from 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And then Tuesday and Thursday, I was doing online writing. Sometimes I would go back to the university to teach the following morning, and I haven't slept. So that was my lifestyle before. And I was doing that not because I wanted to do all of these things, but because at the time I had no idea what I really wanted to do in life. So probably I was experimenting because I get some fulfillment from my first job, which I don't get from the other two. I get a lot of fulfillment from the second job, which I don't get from the two. So it's like that. I was looking for something. So that's the most difficult part. And then it came to a point that I went to India 2008 or 2009. And then
Really?
while waiting at the airport, that was in New Delhi. That was a turning point in my life. Maybe I haven't told you this story yet. So while waiting in the airport, I saw this book by Jack Canfield, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And then beside the book was a CD, The Law of Attraction. For some reason, I was attracted to the book and the CD. So while waiting, because I was bored at the time, I bought both of them. And I was in the airplane, I finished the entire book, even before I landed here in the Philippines. And that book really changed the way I see life. So I started to think about what is it that I really wanted in life. So that's the time I realized this is what I wanted. But there's a problem. The problem is that time I had 3 kids. So how am I going to do that? I have been thinking about resigning and then teaching in another university, but I thought maybe I would have the same issue because it's not the company issue that I was facing at the time, but it was an issue with myself. It was an internal issue that probably if I just change company, I would have the same issue. So I have to really do some introspection with myself. So the first one on your question is that I wanted to leave the academy. I really wanted to because I felt that my values are no longer aligned with the company values. And that is so hard. It's like they're triangle and I'm circle. It just doesn't fit. When I started, it fits well. But along the way, I think I grew. So it doesn't fit anymore. And it's so hard to work that way, but I have no idea. But when I had that opportunity, a company from Singapore contacted me. I didn't have second thoughts. I accepted it. It's a full-time freelance job, a home-based job. That was the first time I went full time working from home in 2010. I was, a lot of people were questioning my decision. Ma'am, bakit aalis ka? Are you going abroad? And I told them, no, no, I'm just staying at home. I'll be working from home. And they couldn't believe it. And they were telling, Ma'am, sayang naman. I don't know if that was positive or negative for them to say sayang naman if I would be resigning. But I resigned anyway. But I knew deep in my heart that I was talking to my husband, and we both didn't have any idea what's gonna happen. So that's the first one. The second one in 2016, because most people, especially freelancers, so 2016 I'm already a freelancer, freelancing for 6 years. And I know that especially in the Philippines, a lot of people are thinking about how do I get a six-figure, a freelance job that's pays six-figure a month. Usually that's what they are looking for. I got that in 2016. But the real story, the painful one for me was I lost that in 2 years. So that was when I learned that there's nothing permanent. But while I was in that job, I was earning six figures. But I knew in my heart I wasn't that happy. I wanted to leave, but I have to weigh in the consequences because that was my major source of income for the family. I didn't want to quit because I don't know. I think you would understand for Filipinos that you
Yes.
have
Mhm.
family. It's the first thing that I want to secure is my family first. I want to make sure that I can still provide. So I didn't leave. I just went on and on and on. But while doing that, because I was no longer happy, I was doing something else for myself. That was the time I started becoming more active on LinkedIn, and then what happened is I didn't leave, but I knew it, I wanted to leave. So what happened was that the owner of the company actually gave me a termination letter 2 years later. And he said, and based on his email, that was 2 a.m. in the morning when I opened my email, I saw the termination letter, and he gave me two options. Either I continue working in the next um, three months, 90 days because of the notice in the contract, or I could resign in 3 days.
Wow. Hmm.
At first, I went blank because I have been thinking, syempre, a lot of things ran through my head. At the time, we just bought our car. So it's like we're still paying the mortgage for the car. And then, of course, I have five kids at the time. But then I realized when I read the email, when he asked me three months or 3 days, I actually chose 3 days. That was a Friday. I replied to his email Monday and I told him I'm ready to move forward. And I thank him for everything, for all the opportunities he had given. And my husband said, and my daughter said, that was the first time also that the whole family went out without any plan. I just said, let's go out. And then my husband said, are you sure? Yeah, let's just go out. Then I felt that I had my freedom for the longest time. I felt that letter or that termination letter was my passport to freedom because I didn't have to quit. He was the one who terminated me. And I saw that as an opportunity to finally spend all working hours building my own dreams. So sometimes, even if we don't want to make that decision, things will unfold right before our eyes. And we have to see that there's an opportunity in all of these tears and all of these rejections. And I think that's one of the best things that happened to me because I was forced to really start on my own. And I was lucky enough at that time, 2018, because I was already able to like take off on LinkedIn just a bit. When I was featured on Forbes, I had several opportunities that came my way. So yeah, that forced me to make a decision. And I was happy I said 3 days. I couldn't last 3 more months. That was the
Wow.
second one.
Mhm. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, with all of these stories that you've shared, I mean, mentioning that you have three kids, the struggle, and with contracts that with contracts that have ended, with having to stop earning six figures, receiving termination letter, but then you still went on. I mean, it must have made a big difference, after you've read that book from Jack Canfield and listening to that
True.
CD. So I guess, I mean, although I can see now how how these experiences have toughened you and taught you. I mean, I'm pretty sure that our listeners would also like to know. I mean, tell us about the lenses that you're looking through in your life right now. I mean, what is life for you after all these
After all of
experiences?
this, life for me really is living every second without asking for anyone else's permission. I came to a place where, when I was a child, I would have to ask permission for everything that I have to do. When I was in the university, there's so many SOPs, so many structures. You can't do things on your own, even if you know that it's within academic freedom. You can't do it because they have a lot of accreditations, things like that. They have to ask permission each time, even if you know that what you're doing is for the good of your students, for the good of the people around you. So now, because of all of these experiences, I came to a dead end career when I was in the academy. I lost a six-figure job, and yeah, basically that. Now, as I said, life for me is just living every second without having to ask for permission, which means that I can work I can choose the people I want to work with, and I can choose to spend quality time with my family when I have to, when I want. No need to ask for permission. Unlike, for example, when I was working before, if I want to attend my kids' school activities, I have to file leaves, right? in the in the
Right.
in the corporate world, if you want to do something for your family, and you have to be absent, you have to file leaves, and it's up
True.
to them whether they will approve it or not. I felt that I deserve it. It's not for anyone else to tell me whether it's right or wrong, it's good or bad for me to attend my kids school activities. So those things that have been in the structure in the corporate world, I don't like them because those are actually limitations. I don't want anyone telling me this is the best, this is what you should do. Because even in my post, you will see I don't tell people this is what you should do, but I give them options. These are the things that you can do. It's still up to you, whatever your values are, whatever is aligned to your values. Make that decision to make life happen to you the way you want to design it. And that's what I love about freelancing as well. So when I had freelancing, when I shifted to freelancing, I had my three F's: family, financial stability, and then freedom. Those things I would never exchange for anything else. Yeah. So that's really how I look at life right now. Plus, an important part of life that I see now is fulfilling a mission that when I was younger, I had no idea about this. I don't know if it comes with age, but what I
Mm.
think is that it comes with the more you mingle with people, the more you know their problems, the more you feel like you have a social responsibility. And when you are just in a classroom, for example, in a corporate world, sometimes you don't see all of these things because you're busy trying to do everything, trying to complete your task, trying to say yes to your boss. So you don't see the entire picture. You don't even see what impact you have on whatever job you have. But when I really embraced that freedom, um, that's when I saw I have I have a role to play, and I can't just ignore that. And that's part of life for me. So living life without asking for permission, spending life with the people I love, of course my family, and fulfilling a mission for the community. Yeah, that's
Wow.
life.
I'm learning every time I get to talk to you, Miss V. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing, what freedom can do. It's like it allows you to know yourself, to discover your true north and eventually discover your purpose and mission for you to live a happier life with the people that you
Mm-hmm.
love. It's like it really paves the way to also know yourself through the core. I mean, that's
Right,
the
right.
beauty of freedom. So I guess my this is actually also my last question. Given what you did with the freedom that you have, given that you now had the chance to discover who you are, if you were to describe yourself in one word, what would that word be?
Right now, I don't have that one word, but I remember when this was years ago. I was talking to my kids. We were like talking about adjectives. How would you describe yourself? And that description should start from the first letter of your word. I just remembered now. And I think it will match. Back then, I told them I want to be victorious Virginia. And I think looking at what I do now, because now I'm no longer afraid of what people will say about me. I'm not doing anything wrong. As long as of course, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I'm not afraid. But what I'm saying is that before I say something, I had to overthink. What will they say about me? What will they think about me? Will they like what I will say? Will they like my decision? Is it going to be good for them? Or if not, those I'm afraid of, people will reject me. But when I learned to really be, when I had that personal branding worksheet, I remember in 2014 or 15, that's when I realized what I really wanted to do in life. Like when you know exactly who you are, you know your gift, and you know the people exactly who could benefit from that gift, you know you're a winner. So that's why it's Victorious Virginia. I just thought of that because I can see the pattern in all of my experiences. That when I hold back, I don't get the kind of result that I want. But when I just okay, I'll just do this. That's when I get more than what I expect from myself. And
Yes.
also, it's because I want everyone who comes in contact with me. Tama ba yun? I want
Mm-hmm.
everyone who experiences me as a friend, as a person, as a mentor, or whatever the term is, I want them to be better when they leave. I want them to be better after we talk, after we had that session. It doesn't matter how small the impact is, but at least there should be something that about the experience with me that they will bring with them. That's what I'm seeing also.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
really beautiful, Miss V. I mean, the fact that, and I love Victorious Virginia, by the way. And by yeah, and with your intention to, whether yes, whether they treat you as a friend or as a mentor, by having that intention, it's like you're also making them victorious like
Right, that's
yourself.
how I feel as well. Mhm.
Yes, that was so beautiful, Miss Virginia. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this episode. I can only say that this is the most amazing episode that I've had so far. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Jen. And I hope that in one way or another, your listeners will realize that at the end of the day, we're all humans.
Yes,
Strip
true.
yourself of your titles, strip yourself of whatever it is, whatever title you have, whatever job you have, whatever career you have. We're all humans. And at the end of the day, we all need each other.
Yes.
And that's why I always feel and I'll always think that LinkedIn is can actually level the playing field. So if your listeners are still not on LinkedIn because they're intimidated by the kind of conversations happening there, which is what most people tell me. When they go there, they don't know how to really express themselves. So they're just lurkers. They're reading comments, they're reading posts, but they're not really creating content. They're not really sharing who they are, what they do, and why they do what they do in the platform. But I've seen the power of LinkedIn to level the playing field. It doesn't matter whether you are a CEO, you are an employee, you are a business owner. At the end of the day, all of us are humans. All of us have our own stories, and stories are the ones that really connect all of us with each other,
I totally agree with you, Miss V. Yeah.
right?
I've personally experienced the power of LinkedIn, and I think it is one of the few platforms that I've been in that where I can actually be myself. So I guess
Mhm.
I just have to say that so that our listeners would also feel that they just need to be themselves, so that the people that they want to attract, would know them better.
Right,
Yes.
right. Mhm.
So yeah,
And always think about what you can give. And this is what I always say. I'm sure you've heard me say this several times. And I guess being a teacher helps a lot because when you're a teacher, you have no goal but to empower your students. You have no goal but to make sure that your students will learn to apply all the things that you have taught them. It's in giving. Teachers give all the time,
yes, yes.
right? So I think my being a teacher is the one that really helped me accelerate my performance on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is about giving. It's not about asking. Once you give, you get more than what you give. So always remember
Yes, yes. That's a good analogy right there, Miss V.
that.
I learned a lot. I learned something new again today, because that's what I also advocate. You have to give. You have to give value. You have to, think less about yourself and more about the audience that you want to attract, more about the people that you want to help. And they would ask me, say, how? And that's a good
Right.
analogy. Is it analogy or metaphor? Yeah. Try to be a teacher. I mean, even if you're not a teacher, I mean, you've experienced
Right.
being with the teacher, since you all of us have grown up in
Mm,
traditional school. So even if you haven't worked as a teacher, the fact that you know what a teacher does, so, and it's really all about giving. So try to put
right.
yourself in a teacher's shoes,
That's
so
frame
that,
of mind. Yeah.
yes, with
Mm,
that frame of mind, so you have a better idea on how it is to give.
mm.
So
And that is
yes,
why, last one, Jen, sorry. And that
yes,
is why the perfect time really to go to LinkedIn is when you don't need anything. You don't need someone to help you with something. That's the best time for you to go to LinkedIn. You don't need a job because you have a job. You don't need a network because when you go to LinkedIn, if you're thinking about, I need this, I need to earn money right now, so your mindset will change. I need to sell. That's what your brain's telling you. I need to sell. So your goal changes. But if you go there while you don't need, there's no need to sell, there's no need to look for a job, you're just building your reputation, then that works so well because your thinking is how can I give? Because I feel that I have a lot, I have so much more to give, then how can I?
it's
So
a
I
good
think this
thing
is
then.
also an advice to those people who will just go to
Yes.
LinkedIn because they need a job. That's not the best time. The best time is if you don't need a job, go to LinkedIn, start building your own dreams. You never know
Yes.
what can happen. You know what happened was right now, COVID-19, a lot of people are affected. But yeah, you can really, by just building your reputation, you won't be afraid that you will be losing a job, that you will go anywhere because you have your network to help you. You have your reputation to take you back on track. And that's exactly what I experienced on.
Yes. Yes. And I do remember you telling me before, and you've also shared it with the large audience, that I mean, I remember you stressing the importance of personal branding, because I mean, if you don't start building your personal brand, you will still end up doing the old way of, looking for opportunities. It's like you'd be chasing after opportunities rather than attract them.
Mm,
So
right.
yes. So thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Miss V. As always, you're generous with your insights again. And thank you also for sharing about, the other side of you. So
Okay.
yes. Yes. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Jen. Really, really, really appreciate this. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes, and lastly, Miss V, if I may just
Yeah,
request, if people want to contact you, I mean, what website can they visit, and probably also your LinkedIn profile?
yeah, you could just go to LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Virginia. Or they could go to Google search for Virginia Bautista, and
Yes.
they will see me all over the place. So, but the first one will be my LinkedIn profile. So they could head to
Yes.
my LinkedIn profile and connect or follow me. Thank you so much.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you so much again, Miss
Thank
V.
you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. This has been your brand, your story. Stories and conversations about humanness and authenticity. And I'm your host, Jen Kahukong. Do you have a story to share? Send me a message by visiting my website at jenkahukong.asia.